All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the true sincere brethren around the four corners, pushing out this purified truth, cleansing this wicked defiled kingdom with the word, and to the rest of the church who believe. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him, none of this would even be possible. All right, period. So, for the sake of time, I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I'm going into how King David was racist, and so was his son Solomon. Okay? And we are going to have slaves, whether you people out there like it or not. Okay? So let's go into it. 1 Chronicles 18:1. Now after this, it came to pass that David smote the Philistines, and subdued them, and took Gath and her towns out of the hand of the Philistines. So King David was slaying Hamites, man. And not only was he slaying Hamites, he was taking their lands from them. Okay? Verse 2. And he smote Moab, and the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. So the Moabites, that's going into the so-called Chinese people. David, okay, he was killing Chinese people, and he was making the ones who were left alive as slaves. And not only were they his slaves, they were bringing him gifts, man. Okay? Why? Because our forefather, King David, he was a racist, okay? He was a man of war. In fact, he had so much blood on his hands that a message was given to a man by the name of Nathan to tell David that he should not build the temple, okay? Because David had a lot of blood on his hands from going to war and slaying a lot of our enemies. Okay, so let's jump down to verse 5. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadarezer, king of Zobah, David slew the Syrians, 220,000 men. Then David put garrisons in Syria, Damascus, and the Syrians became David's servants, and brought gifts. Thus the Lord preserved David, whithersoever he went. So the Lord was behind King David, slaying our enemies and throwing their asses in slavery, man. Okay? It was the Lord who was preserving David, whithersoever he went. Verse 7. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadarezer and brought them to Jerusalem. So not only was David slaying our enemies, he was taking land, he was taking their gold, he was making them slaves. They would give him gifts. All right? That is a part of our history, man. All right? And you nations out there who think you're better than us, you think you're better than starting with the Negro, Latinos and Native Americans, you are going to be shown this whole time the Lord had you deceived, man, because you about to be put in slavery for all the wickedness you've done to me and my people throughout the years, man. You have a long history of shit stains, okay? Jump down again. Let's see here. Let's start at 12. Moreover, Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, slew of the Edomites in the valley of Salt 18,000, and he put garrisons in Edom, and all the Edomites became David's servants. Thus the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. So even you so-called white people, you were being put in slavery back then. A lot of you Edomites today, you're so proud. You think you're so great. Okay? But little did you know, our forefathers had y'all in slavery. Okay, don't think slavery is not in y'all's history. But nevertheless, y'all aren't the children of Israel. And King David, and the men of Israel, we weren't being homosexuals and popping Edomite men. Okay, we kept it according to the law. All right, we wasn't popping a man's wife while he was still alive and doing no crap like that. We kept it all in a line of righteousness, but nevertheless, we had you damn heathens in slavery. So who are you to boast over us, man? Okay? David reigned in Israel, man. Matter of fact, hold on, let's get into that. So David reigned over all Israel and executed judgment and justice among all his people. That's justice. To have slaves, man. To have the laws, statutes, and commandments being pushed throughout the land. To have the names Yahweh and Yahweh Shai being called upon and trusted in the time of need and in the time of just giving glory and thanks. Okay? So yes, our forefather David was a racist. Now, we're going to go into his son being the same way. Because a lot of you niggas out there, you try to stick up for these heathens, man. But it's all right, though. Because you're going to have slaves too, like it or not. So we going to jump to 2nd Chronicles. Right? And I believe it's in the book, the 8th book. 2nd Chronicles 8 and 7. For all the people that were left of the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which were not of Israel, so all of the heathens who were not of Israel, okay, but of their children who were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel consumed not, them did Solomon make to pay tribute until this day. So everyone who was not an Israelite, Solomon made them pay tribute. Why? Because Solomon was also a racist. Solomon was a man of peace, but he was a racist. Okay? Solomon had slaves. He had heathen slaves. And he made them pay tribute unto him, all right? But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no servants for his work, but they were men of war, and chiefs of his captains, and captains of his chariots and horsemen. So when it came to Solomon's people, which is our people, the nation of Israel, okay, he didn't make them slaves. He didn't make us slaves. He made the heathen slaves. Solomon gave us jobs. Okay? That's beautiful, man. All right? But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no servants for his work. But they were men of war, and chief of his captains, and captains of his chariots and horsemen. And there were the chief of King Solomon's officers, even 250 that bear rule over the people. So Solomon was setting Israel on high positions, and he had heathens in slavery. Okay, he made them pay tribute unto him. So to hell with anybody talking about we're all equal, blah, 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 blah. No, we're not all equal. The nation of Israel is better than any other nation on the face of this earth. Okay? That's why when you go to Revelations 11 and verse 2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. In the holy city they shall tread under foot 42 months. So the heathen, they're not a part of this covenant. They're not going to receive the kingdom. Okay? They are outside of the temple. They are not a part of this. They are going into slavery, whether people like it or not. The heathen are not a part of this. Okay? Now, when you listen to man and the ways of this world, you always find yourself in a stumbling block because people go off of emotions. But nevertheless, we gonna have slaves. You heathens aren't a part of this. Our forefathers were racist, and yes, so are we. So all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.